Well, hello everybody and welcome back. Another episode of the Survivor Recap. Coming to you from the Minecraft Vanilla server, and this is the recap that many of you have been super excited about because of all the cool stuff that happened this week in the episode. And let's just jump right into it because this one is right up my alley for sure. But basically, they start out with, for one, I'm excited because it is a reward challenge. So finally the reward challenges are starting to make their comeback. I love that because it usually means you get to see more than one challenge in an episode, which I'm always a big fan of. One of the things I really like about Survivor is the fact that you get to see all the challenges. So when they only do the one, it gets a little bit boring to me sometimes. But the reward challenge is back, so we get to do the reward challenge. But what is this reward challenge? Well, it involves basically, I think it starts out with some obstacles or something like that. I don't even actually remember what it started out with, but there's some obstacles that you do something with, and then you get to this sand pit, and you start digging up from the sand pit some balls. They do this all the time. They constantly have these ones where you dig up these bags of balls, and when you get the balls, you take them somewhere else and do something else with them. In this one, once you find the balls, you're supposed to take them over to basically a big skee ball with just puzzle arrangement, the whole arrangement in a different order. And they've done like pretty much all aspects of this challenge in the past. They've already done this stuff. It's recycle challenge, which is, you know, kind of relatively normal for a lot of these shows anymore. But they do these challenges, but they do this one, and this one turns out to be different. And you guys who watch the show already know how it turns out to be different. And the fact that someone either on the staff really hid the balls extremely well, or the heat and exhaustion was just getting everybody that they couldn't think straight, because they jump in this pit to find the balls, and the Brawn tribe is the farthest ahead of any tribe because they instantly basically find 2 of their bags. Everybody else is having 1 or 0 bags, and this goes on for 45 minutes where they cannot find the balls. It did one of those little fadeaway things where you're like, okay, it's been a long time. I'm gathering from, you know, the way that they do, but you never really know how long it's actually been. And it flashes 45 minutes later. Everybody is still searching for their bags of balls. And I don't know what it is that's taken them so long. Like I said, I don't know if it's because they were hidden super extremely well, or if it was because they just were so exhausted and so taken aback by the sun that they just did a poor. I don't even know. I don't even know how to explain. I've never seen that part of the aspect of the challenge take so long. But finally, after 45 minutes, the Beauty tribe, the Brains tribe ends up getting their balls, finding their last stack of balls, and running over to the area where they're supposed to go try to roll the balls in the little skee ball thing. And they pretty quickly, I'm assuming pretty quickly actually, it's kind of hard to tell how fast it actually went, but they end up sinking all theirs and winning the reward challenge. But it's okay, in this challenge there's 3 people that can, or 2 teams that can win of the 3 to walk away with something. So we continue watching, and it goes back to everybody else starting to dig up their balls, and all of a sudden you see Deb. And Deb lays on the ground. She looks pretty exhausted. She's like, I'm feeling pretty hot. And her buddy on her team, Joe, I think it's Joe. I think that's his name, is Joe. He doesn't really get much airtime anymore. But he's like, look, do you want me to call a medic? And she's like, no, don't call a medic. I don't need a medic right now. And he's like, you look bad. I'm going to call the medic. And finally she's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I have heat stroke. And they call the medic. The medic comes over, and she immediately starts to like look like she's about to die pretty much for a second. She kind of like her body starts giving into all this stuff. And the medics come over and they take care of her. And long story short, she ends up finally doing okay. And she even said, she was like, the second they started to pour cold water on me, and the second I started to take some more, water orally, I knew that I was going to be fine. I knew I started to feel better. And of course, she goes into her own, like, I know first aid. I know everything. And my wilderness training that we did, or my survival training, we did this. So I knew exactly what it was. It was heat stroke. It's eating you from the inside out, which I'm not sure I agree with her definition of heat stroke and heat exhaustion and things like that. But whatever. She does know the symptoms of it. And she most likely did have, heat stroke or heat exhaustion. And she's getting taken care of. While she's getting taken care of, the beauty tribe ends up finding their second balls, and they run over and they start to do the skee ball thing, and it takes them a while. They are struggling. It is taking them a long time to actually get this stuff going. Long enough for the fact that the Brawn tribe ends up, when they get 5 of the 6 balls in the thing, the Brawn tribe ends up finding their last sack of balls finally and getting up there and starting to throw. But alas, the Brawn tribe ends up losing because of the fact that the Beauty tribe finally sinks their last one, but not before they got 3. So they did pretty good with like basically no time frame left. They ended up getting 3 of their balls in the thing. So they still ended up losing that feel of loss that they always have, but not before Alicia gets yelled at by Scott. Scott and Jason are kind of dicks. They definitely treat Alicia like garbage, and she was literally trying to stay positive. She's like, look guys, just start kicking the sand. If you're getting tired, it's going to be easier. And they're just like basically ignoring, like, no, I'm digging here. And she's like, look, guys, we can do this. We can still do this. Let's just stay positive. And Scott makes some back-ass comment about, yeah, just keep cheering, because that's the only thing that you're good at. And, I mean, he's just being a dick, and they're always a dick to her, so I feel bad for Alicia. So that all happens during the challenge. And then after the challenge is over, Caleb, who had won the challenge for his team, he is the one who actually got sunk most of the balls and ended up getting that very final ball on the Beauty tribe. He ends up starting to look pretty rough and kind of goes over in the corner, starts breathing really heavy and starts to pass out. So Jeff looks over, and Deb's still getting taken care of by the medics, but they're like, medics, over this way as well. We got another one that you gotta worry about. So they start going over to Caleb. While at the same time, Sydney on the Brawn tribe starts to basically, like, she kind of collapses against the pole, and Jason's kind of there trying to take care of her. And he like walks her out, and she pretty much just collapses. Like, she's trying to not have to call the medics or anything like that, but she ends up having to call the medics. So at one time going on in this challenge, you have 3 different people who are down needing medical attention at the same time. And I gotta tell you, I'm impressed with the way that Jeff Probst handles this. He literally was just like, look, everybody, camera crew, everybody, you guys are now emergency personnel. Everybody's essential. Get over here, grab some water, do something to help. And I was like, damn, Jeff Probst, you kind of handled that thing like a champ. So I was really impressed with that. But then I will admit, I went back and watched it again. And I started to think, like, oh, everybody's essential personnel. I think he handled it well. Everybody got out there. They started, helping in every way that they could. It looks legit. There was obviously a cameraman still filming, because that's how we got to see all this stuff. Now, when in the determination of filming the show, do you all of a sudden have the distinction of you are an essential personnel cameraman, to where if I call that everybody is essential personnel and needs to get out here helping, you are the guy that continues to film? So that's the one thing I'm a little confused about and kind of want to understand and figure out, because I don't. He said, everybody, basically, you're essential personnel. Get out here. We have some people to take care of, which, like I said, from the outside seemed so impressive. But then I'm like, but the cameraman is still, he's still filming. Like, how did he not become an essential personnel? Did they make a determination, like, we got enough people, you keep filming this? Is it a job role that you have beforehand, knowing that, hey, if something goes down, you are never to stop rolling no matter what happens? Like, I'm very curious of that. No matter what, I'm still very impressed with the way that Jeff Probst handles this. I don't know if he's got, like, training in medicine or in like emergency situations. I would assume that as part of the job of the host, that he would have to go through some type of survival training and wilderness training and group survival things, because what if something happened to everybody while they're out there? Granted, they have the medical team and stuff on standby, but somebody's got to take charge of that. And how big is that medical team? I also want to know, because you got your main medic, Joe, he always talks to. And then obviously you got another medic, and I wonder when the second person went down, and Joe was still over there taking care of, Deb in the first place. I mean, medic Joe, not the contestant Joe. He's over there taking care of Deb, and they're like calling for another medic. Is that secondary medic? He's the backup medic that never gets to do anything on the show. He's like, on his resume, he's like, backup medic for Survivor. I've never actually had to do anything in my life. Is he sitting there going, finally my moment to shine? Or is he like, I don't know what to do. I'm so scared. I never thought I'd have to get in this situation. Because a lot of people who are backups not because they are jumping at the chance to get in there, but a lot of people take that role, and either they're afraid to jump in and be the head person, that's why they'd rather be the backup and just be there just in case, or they've had to deal with this stuff in so long that they don't remember exactly what to do and how to work. I don't know. I'm curious of the whole medical situation of Survivor, because it's the medical field is my background, so I really love that stuff, and that's kind of like emergency medicine almost. It's like ski patrol medicine, kind of. It's just weird situations that you don't really expect are going to happen like that you have to be prepared for. Our motto on the ski hill, not as much in the EMT world because you're supposed to have all the supplies you need, but on the ski hill, like when you take tests and stuff, your medical exams, it's written on the bottom of them. Remember, when you're grading these for people, like the practical scenarios, whatever works. Just because you didn't use the exact piece of equipment that somebody might have to build a splint, but you built an efficient splint out of anything else that you have there, it's acceptable. Granted, they want you to use kind of like standardized stuff, but it is definitely acceptable to use other things that people normally would not be thinking of. So I don't know if it's one of those type of situations or what, but I'm intrigued, and I would love to know. And this thing is really, really, really lopsided somehow. And I'm not 100% sure. I think if I just get rid of that one, it'll actually fix a lot of this. So yeah, that was really, really exciting and intense, and it had me like sucked in watching this, because it was just like people were going down. It was crazy. I will admit, I started to get a little bit teary-eyed, and I did not get teary-eyed because of the fact that people were getting hurt and I didn't know what was going to happen. I was actually teary-eyed because when all was said and done, Caleb gets air evac. Like, they call for the chopper and they air evac him off the island. And now I would love to also, I would love to have been a fly on the wall for all this stuff, because I don't know why they air evac'd him. The vital signs that they were showing of him were not indicative of somebody who needed like immediate get out of here, get to safety, this guy's going to die if we don't. But at the same time, I'm not 100% privy to everything that was going on over there. I don't know what I messed up over here. I want this to be more even, and it's not. What is it over there? There's only two. 222, 22222. Either way, I don't know if this thing is going to ever be even. I'm just going to destroy some of this stuff. Either way, he ends up getting air backed out. Like, his blood pressure, the one that I saw, is like his heart rate was like 130, which is, yes, is extremely high, but you're dehydrated. That's not abnormal, or not to be expected, I should say. His blood pressure was like 143 over 70 something. Like, his blood pressure looked fine. His body wasn't in the stage of compensation yet, which is a good sign. Like, once you get to that stage of compensation, it means that something's going more wrong than you're like dealing with appropriately at the time. So I wish I knew what the determining factor was in them actually sending him back. They never showed his temperature is the one thing, and it very well could have been the fact that his temperature, they couldn't get it down. But either way, he ends up getting evac, so he gets pulled from the game. Everybody else is told, like, look, you're not in any danger getting pulled from the game. You're going to be fine. And Caleb, on the other hand, unfortunately for that guy, he's gone. He's gone from the game. And that's why I was getting a little teary-eyed. Not because he was pulled from the game, but because poor Ty. Ty looked so sad. Ty was like in the corner crying. He wasn't really in the corner. He was with his team crying. You could tell he was just like heartbroken that Caleb's going to be gone. And not only is it, is it sad that he's going to be heartbroken? I really like Ty, and I really thought Ty was going to go places in this game because he had an alliance with Caleb. And I think their alliance is going to be huge when all is said and done in this game. But not anymore. It can't be. He's gone. And I honestly think Ty's chances are kind of numbered and going to be ruined in this game because of the fact that Caleb got evac'd. The only thing that he has going for him is that his team hasn't lost a challenge yet. They've won everything. They've lost a teammate or a tribe mate now because of the fact that of a medical injury, not because of anything with them losing or anything like that. So I don't know. I'm really curious to see what ends up happening with Ty now because, like I said, I'm worried. I'm concerned because I think Ty is going to be in for a bad time, and that saddens me because I want to see Ty do good things. But either way, so it was a really exciting start to an episode because it was just, I mean, I've just never seen something like that before in Survivor. I don't think anything like that has ever happened before in Survivor. It hasn't. He said it was unprecedented, and I understand why it was unprecedented because because it's never happened before. It's crazy. 3 people needing medical attention all at the same time. It's just, whew. They had a run for their money that day. And so they also must keep a ridiculous amount of water on hand because they were just pouring cold water all over these people. So they must have coolers just chock full of water, which is good because what I kept thinking is, I'm like, you want to cool these guys down? You're sitting next to an ocean. Granted, it's salt water, but if you want to cool them down in a hurry, walk them over to the... Hi, chicken. Walk them over to the ocean and dump them in instead of but granted, if you have enough cold water, go for it and do what you were doing because the ice cold water coming from, the bottles and everything and the ice that they were packing them with is going to be better than just ocean water. But the ocean's got to be pretty cold. So that's what I would do in a survival situation is if I didn't have enough water, I'd be like, drag this guy right to the ocean floor. Right to the ocean. We're going to throw him right on in there because that's what's going to be probably the best to try to keep him healthy. But like I said, I could be absolutely wrong in that assessment. I'm unsure how that actually how the salt water affects things like that. So it'll be really I don't know. I just God, it was like so riveting to just watch. It was so riveting to watch this episode. So I'm really excited for the next one. Knowing it can't be that riveting ever again, which is sad because if it is that riveting ever again, then they're just obviously just pushing something for ratings. But so either way, all is said and done, the Beauty Tribe has lost a tribe mate for the first time because of the fact of this medical pull from the game, and it shows everybody back at their camps, and I'm not going to give a whole recap on everything that happens, but basically the important thing is over at the Brawn camp, Alicia, man, she doesn't care. She doesn't give a shit. She will let you know if you're being an asshole and why you're being an asshole. I love that about her. And she was just like, look, Scott, dude, I was trying to help us stay positive, and you made this comment to me. What the fuck is your problem? Essentially is what she was saying to him. And of course, he at one point tried to make it sound like he was being nice. She's like, look, you told me, go ahead, keep being a cheerleader. That's all you're good at. And he's like, no. I was telling you were helping. You were definitely helping. Be a cheerleader. That's what we needed. We needed a cheerleader. And then of course he just, goes into his normal Scott mode, and him and Jeremy just start basically telling her how stupid she is and how dumb she is and how she's pretty much not worth a damn and that they don't care about her and they can't wait until she's out of there. I feel so bad for her. I don't understand how she got that reputation with them. I know she did some stupid things at the beginning, but nothing crazy stupid. She's not I don't know, treating people like that is just not cool. But at the same time, we don't see everything that happens behind the scenes to know exactly all the things that she's made him feel so stupid, because Jason even is there talking afterwards to the camera during like the little confessional interview type things, and he's basically talking about how he is so afraid for his daughters to grow up like her because she's somebody you can't have a conversation with, and how dumb she is. Like, they really hate Alicia, and I just can't figure it out. That's crazy. I really can't figure it out. I feel bad for her, and unfortunately she's got a long ways to go in this game if she's gonna be able to save anything. But either way, that brings us to the immunity challenge. Immunity challenge happens. It's something about getting some things from the woods, and then getting, so there was two teams. One ran into the woods to grab these rope pieces, and the other one goes into the ocean to untie some rope pieces, and it's all about putting together this snake puzzle. And long story short, the Brawn tribe ends up losing. Alicia was one of the people in charge of doing the puzzle, and she even at one point when she couldn't figure it out, she tried to pass it off, and she was like, look, anybody else want to give this a shot? I can't do this. And they're like, no, we're not going to do it. Like, they almost like they wanted to lose without them actually saying we want to lose. It was interesting because it kind of looks like they threw the challenge to get rid of her, but they never talked about throwing the challenge, so I really think they're just that bad at challenges, which is sad because that means out of 4 immunity challenges, they've lost 3 of them. 3 out of 4 immunity challenges. They're the Brawn tribe. Like, they're supposed to be able to, you know, be stronger than somebody to take care of some things, but nope, they are just going for a nightmare. Then it was interesting because Jeff's actually like, he stops him, he talks to him, and they basically, Jason was basically like, look, we know who we're going to vote out. Let's do tribal council right now. Let's get rid of her. Like, very open and blatant about it. And Jeff's like, hey, if you want to do tribal council right now, we can do tribal council right now. But everybody's got to agree to it, and that means Alicia too. And of course, at least Alicia's smart enough to be like, I'm not going to agree to this tribal council because that would just be dumb in a death sentence because I know you're going to vote me out. So they walk away. They don't even show any beach time. No beach time is shown. The next scene is them going to tribal council. So at that point, I hoped, but I knew that Alicia was going to end up going home because if they didn't show anything at the beach and then people's feelings had changed, and unless something crazy came out at tribal council, like the time before when Jen started acting all crazy and then they ended up voting her out because she's started talking all her weirdness and her weird nonsense, but she ends up getting voted out in the end and pretty much can't say anything. And it's funny because she gives her piece for a while, and then Jeff Probst is like, look, I've never been to a tribal council that's been so obviously clear cut as this. And he's like, as much as I know you're about to go home, he's like, I'm voting for you. Like, I'm rooting for you. I'm hoping you can make it through this. But unfortunately, she could not because she didn't have a hidden immunity idol or anything like that because they stole that from her. They didn't really steal it from her. And that's another thing that I don't understand. With that immunity idol, I started thinking about it. And what Jason actually, or excuse me, what Jeremy actually, it is Jason, right? Yeah, whatever his name is. What he actually got out of the tree when it fell down was only the key to open the chest. Did that mean the idol belonged to him at that point, or did he actually have to go open the chest? Like, what if somebody had gone and dug up the chest when he had the key for it and just took the chest away? What if they hid the chest? Let's say, what if you broke into the chest? Like, are you allowed to break into the chest? It didn't say anything about that. You have to use the key to get this. I mean, it said that they had a tool for a way to acquire the key that not a single team actually used the tool. They did a makeshift tool. Could I have done a makeshift key to get into the lock? And by makeshift key, I mean rock, and just break that freaking lock off? Like, would that have been acceptable? I wonder why Alicia didn't just run toward that chest. Maybe she didn't think about it because maybe it's just assumed to be against the rules. Maybe it's specifically stated that you're not allowed to do that it is against the rules. I have absolutely no idea. There's so much I'm confused about in relation to idols this season that I just wish I knew, because I really wish, like, this was one of those perfect episodes. It would have been so good for TV if she had somehow had an idol that nobody knew about, and she was able to play it. Or how differently would things have been if she just had the idol and everybody knew, but there was nothing that they could have done about it because of the fact that she had the idol. Like, how different would that have been? That would have been so cool, in my opinion. I'm going to drop this back, I think. 2 blocks. Just like this, to try to make it all even and see what happens. See if it looks good. Make it even under here. But anyways, that was the whole episode. The whole episode was mainly surrounding the whole thing happening, the challenges and the medevac and all that stuff. And like I said, really riveting stuff. I wish I could understand a little bit more about all the decisions that went into that, or a little bit more about Survivor training. Or, man, maybe I don't need to go on Survivor. I'll be on the Survivor medical staff instead. No, actually, I'd rather be on Survivor. I don't want to be on the medical staff. I bet you once you're part of the staff of Survivor, like, that you are absolutely no longer allowed to take part in any Survivor as a contestant at all. I would bet that that's the case. It could be wrong, so I would never want to ruin my chances, though I really probably don't have any chances. But either way, there we go. Pretty good for just kind of throwing this thing together here, in my humble opinion. So I don't think I missed anything big in the episode. I think it was pretty much encompassing. I didn't actually take notes on this one. I just kind of did it all from memory because it was just so cool and so right there. And I did watch a couple of those things a couple times because I was so intrigued. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this episode of the Survivor Recap, and I will see you next time.